existing conditions is the importance of removing dilapidated structures. The commissioner's been helping out with that from the county level, and there's more work to be done. But as my fiance says, it's kind of like when you clean out the closet, you can go buy new clothes. So yeah, we need to clean up a few things, and that allows. It's not just about the look. The perception is mightily important, and when combined with the efforts that have already been occurring, we're able to get that much farther, that much faster in new development in Kendleton. Actually, I'm going to come back to Mike in a little bit on the YMCA thing, but we'll finish with the color exhibits, finish with the flourish here. This is simply the city limits, and one of the important things on understanding any community is actually getting on the ground and understanding what the land uses are, what's actually existing out there. And so here's what us planners love to do, is these color-coded maps that inform us about things, when really what this says is at the top there. Most of the land, almost 75% of the land in the jurisdiction, is either agricultural or undeveloped. And that says two things. Number one, there's a history of this being a farming community that needs to be preserved because it's an honorable profession that we need to allow these individuals to continue to make a living doing. It's a necessity. And then we have undeveloped land that's the opportunity to do infill. We need that infill to be appropriate so that you don't put something next to a land use that's incompatible. And that's really what we're talking about in the plan when we ask Kendleton to consider some sort of land use controls that is so that development occurs appropriately. I'm going to contrast this now. This was actually done for the plan. This is what was observed on the ground as far as existing land use. And just watch what happens here. We'll go back and forth a little bit. All I'm doing with this slide is illustrating that if we simply do infill, that we don't tax any more infrastructure dollars. Maybe that's a poor choice of words. If we don't put additional monies towards building new infrastructure and simply use what Kendleton has on the ground now in specific areas that are already residential, along major roads that probably should continue to grow as commercial strips. If we were to do those simple things, we can achieve a lot of growth in this community without having to do a lot of investment. And that's key because, frankly, with the size of the community, there's only so many dollars to go around. And most of that is on maintenance, which is always the difficult thing when you're going to do anything new. You shouldn't just look at what's the cost to build something, but in perpetuity, what's it going to cost to maintain whatever that facility is, be it a road, a sewage plant, even buildings, the power grid, what have you, sewers. So I'm going to zoom in real quick here, on Kendleton proper. We'll call this the heart of the community, and obviously the intermodal there on the right side. And again, what the land use is currently. But if we were to transform just the tracks, with minimal investment in new infrastructure, just the tracks that can be redeveloped right now, what could the community look like? And really what this says to me is that infill achieves a 5% reduction in undeveloped land. So we're going to get rid of some undeveloped land, we're going to use it more appropriately. We're going to have about a 25% increase in the number of homes in Kendleton, which is important because of the number of jobs that are going to be created, along with jobs programs, keeping people in Kendleton and allowing the younger generations to continue to live in a hometown and have that rural, that's an important thing. We as Texans enjoy doing that a lot of times. And I think it's an incredibly important way for a community to continue to grow. And it's something that is lost in some of our suburban character, even though that growth is incredibly important to the overall fabric. But to me, the most important thing here is that simply using the lands that are either vacant or had been something in the future and need to be redeveloped, you see the amount of red on this slide versus the previous one. That's only 70 acres additional commercial development over what is on the ground now. But that 70 acres, that represents a 158% increase in commercial properties. Okay, so that's tax dollars back to the city immediately. And that's the kind of growth that is necessary for its future. That money, additional monies, go into all of the services that end up being provided, needed for the community. And why it's important, again, to put that development in the right place so that it is sustainable. The I-69 corridor really is, I think it's a combination of these three slides. We all know that there's a lot of traffic going to increase along this route. And obviously this goes all the way up into Canada. It's a major trucking route, but this is what it looks like here in Kendleton. So how do we attract people to the doorstep to Fort Bend County, have them stay a while, have them spend money in Fort Bend County, in Kendleton, to the benefit of the community, and how do we preserve this? Because I love this. One day I'm just out there and, that's a major transportation spine for horses too. And that, that's the character of this area and why it's so neat to be able to work here, because blending that for the future is what is going to be fun to watch and why I've enjoyed working on this process. Finally, this is a real jewel for the community because the amount of park space here, both city park and county park, the attractiveness of the facility and the ability to reconnect. I mentioned about how 59 and the railroad kind of bisect the city. We can use the San Bernard River to reconnect from an amenity standpoint the city underneath that bridge overpass over the river, and enhance a lot of to me that this is a way to attract visitors, and in combination with the historical buildings, with what the YMCA is about to do, which I'm going to ask Mike to talk about real briefly at the park, we get young eyes in this community, and they're going to remember, and they're going to come back, and it's going to improve the overall quality of life for everyone. Mike, real briefly, the YMCA folks have gotten under contract now, or there's a contract in order to use the park facility for a day camp.
Well, we're actually, we've been collaborating. I am co-chairing with a gentleman named Marshall Witcher, a group of people, including staff of the YMCA's. And a lot of you are familiar with public-private initiatives, and this is, we've been a series of months we've been working on collaborations with the county about utilizing, the YMCA utilizing an agreement, for Bates Island Park for a regional-wide camp. And the county's been absolutely wonderful in all the communications we've had. We're still moving forward on that. There's no negativity, quite truthfully. They're just trying to make sure all the T's are crossed and the I's are dotted. It's a wonderful park. The judge, I guess, about 10,000 trees were donated to you that were put out there. And I mean, do yourself a favor, if nothing else, go out 59 to Kendleton, take a left towards that park, and you'll just open up to you right there on the San Bernard River for canoeing for kids. And matter of fact, even if the agreement's not finalized by June, the Y has gotten monies to go ahead and have 500 kids out there for 10 weeks of camp, just utilizing the nature trails and the river and such. So it's a very wonderful ongoing project, and the agreement should be completed here in the next several months. And Commissioner Morrison has been excellent on helping us get that done.
So summing up again, why should we be doing this right now? Well, because it's appropriate, because we need to have things in place so that we understand how to grow a community appropriately. And I think that we've done that as we move forward these next few weeks and City Council is able to adopt the plan. It contains a specific list of priorities in certain time periods on what they should invoke and when, and the tangible aspects of the plan should be visible really quickly. This has been, again, a really profound process, I think, and exciting to be able to unveil it to all of you here today. Thank you all for coming. I think I left enough time for maybe one or two questions. Thanks again so much, and thank you to our whole team and all the folks from Kendleton who showing up today.